This demo will show how the SAC, or Storage Access Controller, functions and how we can use it to make networking more secure. What we will show you is a rudimentary SAC prototype using manual controls to demonstrate the proof of concept and its ability to establish a network-like environment with two host PCs, and how the SAC can manipulate this environment in a way that the host PCs cannot override and take advantage of other resources on the network. Our prototype shown here has two attachment points for the host PCs and 4 ports for USB devices. In stage 1, we will demonstrate USB compliance. The SAC is first attached to host PC number 1, and then host PC number 2. We then attach a storage device to the SAC, and it is host number 1 that recognizes its dedicated storage device, shown here as E drive. A second storage device is then attached to the SAC, and it is host number 2 that recognizes it as D drive. As part of USB compliance, detaching both storage devices is recognized by both hosts. We disconnect the SAC to indicate the end of stage 1. Network security fundamental number 1. Access control. We reattach the SAC. We now remove the data paths between the hosts and the devices. We then reattach the storage devices. Now, as you'll notice that despite being plugged in, the storage devices were not accessible by host 1 or host 2. We now reestablish the data paths that allow host 1 and host 2 to access their respective storage devices. And as you can see, host 1 accesses its storage device, and the previous file, host1 hello.txt, is now accessible. Likewise, host 2 accesses its storage device, and the previous file, host.howdy.txt, is also now accessible. This ends stage 2. Stage 3. Network security fundamental number 2. Environment control, i.e., controlling what the host sees despite what the physical network is. Here, we reconfigure the data paths and make host 1 see more than one storage device, despite the fact that host 1 has access to just one physical drive. Here, F drive is an exact clone of E drive and accessible. Such a feature is useful for failover and redundancy. Likewise, we can control what host 2 sees as well. A security sandbox, if you will. A real sandbox, but without the need of virtual machines. And this ends stage 3. Stage 4. Network security fundamental number 3. Active sharing. Active sharing eliminates the problem of access privilege escalation. In this example, we will allow one-way resource sharing. Host number 2 may access the device assigned to host number 1. It should be noted that host number 1, as it is set up, cannot access or discover host number 2 storage devices. It should also be noted that this example shows rudimentary file sharing on our secure Eden network. Moreover, these are native responses, meaning there is no custom software or drivers involved. Here, when permissions are set, the same storage device that is accessible by host number 1 is now accessible by host number 2, indicated by the host1.hello.txt file, now accessed by host number 2. This ends stage 4. Stage number 5, mimicking an email server. Here we show the flexibility and the potential uses of our secure Eden network. On the recording host, a simple text file is created and saved locally. Using the file transfer function in TeamViewer of the recording host, this save file is transferred to host number 2. The file will be transferred to D drive of host number 2. Note, this is the same shared drive from host number 1 from the previous example. Here we can assign it as quote unquote private mailbox storage for host number 1. In essence, we're making host number 2 an email repository that is shared by all, and that sharing is dictated by the permissions we set on each user, i.e., we can allow or deny access and have granular control in specific folders if emails are general or sensitive. Here we are completing the permissions sets and the pathways for host number 1 to access its quote-unquote private mailbox. Host number 1 now checks its mailbox, and voila, host number 1 has now received email. Thanks for watching. We're working on more scenarios and applications, so stay tuned for more demos and follow our prototype progress.